If you're new to AI automation, sometimes the hardest part isn't learning the technology, it's just knowing where to start. In the next few minutes, I'm going to give you 5 tips on how to find automation opportunities that exist all around you. So by the end, you'll have a short list of automations you can start building this week. Let's get into it. Okay, so this is a decision matrix I came up with to help you think about automation opportunities. And we're going to do it in the context of time saved. Automation can also have the benefit of money made, but for our demo purposes, we'll just do time saved. So here in the center of the matrix, we have this vertical line here, and it goes from low impact, time saved, to high impact, time saved at the top. And it reads left to right on the horizontal axis, from low complexity to high complexity. So if we start here in the top right-hand corner and work our way clockwise, we see the word plan. So these are automations that they have a high impact, they'll save you a lot of time, but they're also complex. And so if you're just starting out, you want to plan for these, to do these in the future, but you probably don't want to do those right now. So if you come down to the bottom right quadrant, these are automations that don't save you a ton of time, so the impact is low and it's super high complex. So you want to avoid these for now. Making our way down to the bottom left quadrant, we have automations that I refer to as nice to have. These don't have a lot of impact and they're not very complex. And so these are nice to have, but they're not necessary. And then finally, in the top left quadrant, we have automations where it saves you a lot of time and it's not complex. And so if you're new to automation, this is where I would start. These are the ones I would focus on first. Okay, tip number 1 is repetition radar. So open your calendar and your task list or whatever you need, whatever you use to keep yourself organized, and write down anything you do 3 to 4 times a week, and you do it the same way every time. These are good candidates for automation. For example, let's say you run a web design company called Pixel Pushers. Now, I know from my own previous experience running my own web design agency that quoting takes up a lot of time. And what do I mean by that? Well, people reach out to you, and they say, hey, can you build me a website? How much would it cost? And then you work your numbers, and then you send them a quote, and you may or may not hear back from them. And then you have someone else who does the same thing, and this cycle repeats. And some you win, and some you lose. But it's a highly repetitive process and takes up a lot of time. Every client wants something different or unique, and you may not even get the job. So the question is, can we automate this process? And here's one idea on how you could do it. So I built this form here in a website called fillout.com. It's free, and they make really slick forms. I suggest you check it out. And so let's say that the client gets me on the phone, and they want a website. So as I'm talking to them on the phone, I would be filling out this form. I'd put in their company name, the name of the person I'm talking to, their email, maybe a little bit about their company, like maybe they're a plumber, a roofer, they're a marketing agency, whatever, right? Put in some information about them. And then maybe I would have a list of my services, or a list of packages, right? And after I talking to them, I'm like, okay, they're interested in package number 3. And package number 3 has a specific price point or package amount. And then I hit submit. So right off the bat, I'm already collecting their information in real time. So I'm saving some time there. And let's see what comes next. So if we look at this simple automation that I came up with in make.com, we see we have the first module here is a webhook. And a webhook is just a trigger. It's a way to fire off an automation. And so this webhook is receiving the information from this form. So this form fires off, and this webhook is listening for responses from that form. So as soon as this thing receives a response from my form, it triggers the automation. So the next thing we can do is pass that information from the form over to Google Sheets. And now we have stored their information. We can put this in a CRM or a project management software or whatever you want. But for demo purposes, I just put it in Google Sheets. And then we send that information from the form over to PandaDoc. And PandaDoc is a platform that allows you to dynamically create PDFs. So basically, you could have a proposal template stored on the PandaDoc platform. And then, you can already have your logo in there. You can have your mission statement, your contact information, whatever you want in that template. And then you're taking the information from the form and just swapping out variables in the proposal. And then when the document is created, you can then use Gmail to send that document over to the client. So literally within minutes of hanging up the phone with the customer or the lead, you can have them a proposal within minutes. And that's a huge benefit to you, because the sooner you can get the information to them, the sooner they can make a decision and potentially hire you. The next tip I call the department detective. So think about the various departments or functions that exist in every business. Lead generation, sales, fulfillment, support, contracts, renewals, and the list goes on, right? So if you think about if you break down a business in these different categories, then you can be asking yourself a question like, okay, what can we do within each one of these categories to save time and make money? So one thing you can do is take example lead generation, and let's break that down into the various tasks that are involved with lead generation. Now, your company may not do all these, but these are just some ideas. For example, cold outreach, sending out emails, paid advertising, using social media, SEO, optimizing your website and trying to capture organic content from Google. Lead magnets. There's lots of different ways to generate leads. And so now you've broken those down into tasks, and you do that for every single one of these different categories, right? So then you go through each one of these tasks. And for example, you could say cold outreach. You want to define what it is and what is a major pain point of cold outreach. And then take that information and copy paste it into ChatGPT and ask it for AI automation solutions using platforms like Make.com. So here is an example prompt that you could copy and paste into ChatGPT. It says, you are an AI automation expert and great at finding opportunities to save time and make money in a small business context. Every business needs lead generation to survive. List out the top 3 pain points that every business faces when trying to generate leads, and then provide an AI automation solution to that pain point. So then ChatGPT is going to come back with some ideas. And then, if you find an idea that you like, you can actually ask ChatGPT to help you build it step by step in Make.com. Now, I've already kind of put together these same exact categories in my school community. And let me show you what that looks like. If you hop over to my school community, it looks like this. If you're interested, I'll leave a link to it in the description below. But once you get access to the community, you want to go up to Classroom, scroll down to 10 business categories. I've already done the work of coming up with 10 business categories. Lead generation, sales conversion, client onboarding, fulfillment, customer support, retainer and upselling, operations and admin, finance and billing, team and HR, and strategy and planning. And then inside of each of those, I've come up with 5 subcategories or tasks, right? Like under customer support. So the first thing I do is define what is customer support. And then I go to the first task and I define it. I define a major pain point, and then I define an AI automation solution. So I've done that for all these different categories. And so if you're interested in checking out this list, again, you can check it out in my school community. If maybe you work in one of these departments in a business, or you're a business owner and you know exactly what this stuff is, but you're just not sure where to start, this is a great place. This is a great resource for you to get some ideas. Okay, tip number 3 is called drag and dread. Think about the task you do on a daily basis that you absolutely dread doing, and you wish someone else was doing it for you, or you wish that you could hire someone else to do it. So, for example, let's say your business model requires you to be on Zoom calls all day long. I have a friend who's a financial planner, and he can literally spend all day in Zoom meetings. And so he gets behind on other things like emails and whatever else he does, financial planning. But he can get behind. And so part of the meeting process is also post-meeting recaps and follow-up emails. So after the meeting, he has to summarize what was talked about, and then create action steps, and then send up emails to the customer, the person on the Zoom call. So there's a lot of work that has to be done after the Zoom call. And he can get behind on that because of all the meetings he has. And so I know that there are AI note takers already on the market, and you can integrate with those and customize those with automation. But maybe you also want something a bit more custom. And so I put up together a little diagram here in make.com just to show you what's possible. For example, let's say you're working with Zoom. And so you have a webhook, and we've seen webhooks before. As soon as the meeting is over, you fire off this webhook, and then it passes the information from the Zoom call, and you download the Zoom meeting in video format. You can use something like Cloud Convert to convert the video over to an audio file, and then use ChatGPT to create a transcription from the audio file. And then finally, you can use another AI module to analyze the conversation, the transcript, and then extract all sorts of insights about that call. For example, what are the key takeaways from that call? What are the action items? What are the decisions to be made? What questions were answered? What strategic insights can you glean from the call? And what are the next steps? And then at the end, you would maybe dump that information into Airtable or whatever CRM or project management or database you want. And then finally, send an email out to the customer with all that information we just talked about, all these insights and next steps. So that's a way that you can save a bunch of time if you spend the majority of your day on video calls. Okay, error magnet. Tip number 4, error magnet. Think about the tasks you've done or someone who works for you has done that's been prone to errors. Or maybe you're having to copy and paste information from one source to multiple systems. Example, you get a new email which contains an invoice, and you or your assistant's job is to manually copy-paste the information from the PDF into your accounting software or your CRM. So how could you automate that? Well, number one, again, in make.com, I just put this together real quickly. You have an email module, which is just watching for new emails. And we have a filter here that says has attachment. If yes, then we're going to extract all the attachments from the email. We will then upload them to Google Drive for storage. And then we will download those files and pass them over to pdf.co, which is a third-party platform. We'll pass information to it through their API. And then we'll use ChatGPT to actually extract certain information from that PDF. Maybe it's the customer name, their contact information, services rendered, the pricing, the amount, when is the information due, how do you pay? So basically we can use ChatGPT to extract the information. And then finally we can pass that over to whatever CRM or system you want. I just put click up here, but it could be whatever you want. So that's another great use of automation, is to think about things that are prone to error. I know I had one client in particular whose job is was to copy paste information from an email every morning into a spreadsheet. And they had multiple people doing that every single day because they had lots of leads come in. And that process was prone to errors. You could copy paste into the wrong column, copy paste in the wrong spreadsheet. So if you use automation, it can help reduce some of those errors. And tip number 5 is just use AI to help you find automation ideas. So here's a prompt that I already have written for you. I'll make this resource available in my school community if you just want to copy paste this script for yourself. But the prompt is 2 parts. So here's the first part. Copy paste this into like ChatGPT. It says, I'm looking for help identifying ways to automate parts of my work or business using tools like AI and no-code automation. Here's some context about me and my work. I work in, and then you need to swap out, wherever you see the brackets, you need to swap that out with your information. So I work in real estate. I work in marketing. I work in coaching. My main daily tasks include, and then list your top 5 repetitive or time-consuming tasks. Like this is going to take a little bit of thought, right? Like going through the steps I showed you earlier, thinking about the things you do every single day that are repetitive or boring, time-consuming, or prone to error. So list those in that section. And then next it says my biggest pain points or time wasters are, list 1 or 3 things that slow you down or frustrate you. And then specify the tools that you use, email, Google Sheets, Notion, whatever CRM you use, whatever project management system you use. Just trying to give the LLM some context about who you are and what tools you use. And then finally, I want to spend more time on sales, strategy, creativity. Okay, so once you hit enter, ChatGPT is going to come back with a whole bunch of helpful information helping you answer this question. And then once you get the response, you want to follow up with this one. It says, based on this, referring to the results from the first prompt, can you give me a list of 5 to 10 specific ideas for automation or AI workflows that could save time, reduce manual work, or increase impact in my specific situation? If possible, include what tools you'd use, an explanation of how it works, and why it would be helpful in my context. So again, if you want access to this prompt, I'll make it available in my school. So just to help you find that in my school community, I have a tab right here called YouTube Resources, and I'll make the video accessible there. I'll also link to this document where you can find all the prompts inside of this resource. Okay, so those are 5 quick tips on how to find automation ideas. I hope that was helpful. If you enjoyed the video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I'd really appreciate it. Okay, see you in the next video. Bye for now.